I invited my family to my wedding, but no one showed up. Why call my sister? She laughed coldly. Oh, was it today? You'll be divorced soon anyway, so it's a waste of time. My mother sighed over the phone. Right now I'm in Paris, enjoying champagne with a view of the Eiffel Tower. Don't bother me with this nonsense. But when they came home, I was the one smiling. For most people working in San Francisco's financial district, Monday mornings were depressing, but not for Olivia Campbell. She had promised herself she would walk with her head held high every morning, as long as there were no wrinkles etched on her forehead. Looking at her reflection in the computer screen, she took a deep breath. Today it was a special day. The engagement ring from Yin, her boyfriend of 3 years, sparkled on the ring finger of her left hand. Olivia smiled softly as she called her mother. Mom, I have something important to tell you. Her mother, Eleanor's voice, always held a tinge of tension, as if she was afraid someone might overhear. I'm busy right now. I'm overwhelmed preparing Victoria Hohorn's garden party. You know Victoria is the most influential woman in the city. Olivia closed her eyes silently. Of course, she knew. Her mother uttered those words, the most influential woman, at least once a week. It wasn't about actual power or wealth. It was simply a phrase reflecting Eleanor's imagined social status. I understand, but Mom, I'm engaged to Yin. There was a moment of silence on the other end, followed by Eleanor's cold laughter. Oh, with that real estate agent? Olivia, you always sell yourself short. Look at Chloe. She's dating a lawyer, a promising lawyer. Olivia glanced down at the small, succulent plant on her desk. It was Yin's first gift. Yin is a good man. I think I can be happy with him. Happiness is temporary, Olivia. I never thought you'd be the biggest disappointment in the family, but well, it's your choice. After hanging up, Olivia felt something tighten in her chest. Always criticized, always told she wasn't enough. But she had the courage to choose a different life. That afternoon, Olivia visited her sister Chloe's apartment. The view from the top floor of the skyscraper was breathtaking, but her sister's cold expression froze the air in the room. Engaged to him, Chloe said, tilting her wine glass. You really have no ambition. Olivia sat on the sofa, looking at the shelf decorated with pictures of her niece, Sophia. I love Yin. Chloe laughed. Love is just brain chemistry. It doesn't last. She stood and walked to the window. Look at this Manhattan skyline. This is my love. This is what I've achieved. I'm happy. Chloe turned and looked at Olivia, her beautiful face twisted in a sneer. You've always consoled yourself with that word, happy. But face reality. The man you've chosen will spend his life selling other people's houses. On the other hand, I know, Olivia said quietly. You're successful. We hear it every day. Chloe's expression turned uncomfortable. I didn't mean to hurt you, just... She hesitated for a moment, as if searching for words. Just think you could do better. Before leaving the apartment, Olivia tried to show her the engagement ring, but Chloe simply said, show it to me later. She met her brother Liam at his surf shop. The San Diego sunlight illuminated his tan skin, and Olivia always envied the sense of freedom her brother possessed. Congratulations, Lee. She gave him a light hug, but the embrace was brief and somehow formal. But honestly, I understand what Mom and Chloe are saying. Olivia looked out at the beach and whispered, You too, sister. He said, drawing lines in the sand, there's something special about Yin. He loves me. Not enough. Liam shrugged. Sure, but we Campbells should aim higher. Olivia smiled bitterly at her brother's words. The term the Campbells sounded like they were royalty. Her family was simply middle class, but Eleanor's dreamy social ambitions had permeated her children. While preparing for the wedding, Olivia had the opportunity to meet Yin's parents. They welcomed her warmly, especially Yin's mother, Grace, who embraced her with a warmth Olivia had never felt from her own mother. I'm glad you chose Yin, Grace said with a peaceful smile. That night, back at her hotel room, Olivia looked at her engagement ring and cried. Why couldn't her family be happy for her? Why were her choices always considered not enough? But meeting Yin's parents gave her a small hope. Maybe on her wedding day, her family would open their hearts. Maybe seeing her happiness would help them understand the true meaning of family. With that thought, She carefully placed the wedding invitations into envelopes. 3 invitations for her mother, sister, and brother. Each contained her wishes for a new life. The soft June sunlight filtered through the windows, creating enchanting lines of light in the venue. Olivia, dressed in an elegant wedding gown, stood in front of a large window. Her skin glowed faintly with nervousness and anticipation. Her eyes reflected a mixture of anxiety and hope. She checked her watch repeatedly and peered out the window. "They should be arriving soon," she murmured softly. The special seats prepared in the front row remained empty. A small sign on a tripod that read "Family Seats" accentuated the loneliness of the empty chairs. The wedding planner, Jessica, entered the room. "Olivia, the ceremony starts in 15 minutes. Are you ready?" Olivia forced a smile. "Yes, I'm fine. It's just that my family hasn't arrived yet." Jessica nodded kindly. "It could be traffic. Don't worry, they'll be here in time." Olivia clutched her smartphone and looked out the window again. The clear blue San Francisco sky and the Golden Gate Bridge visible in the distance. Everything was perfect for the day except for one thing. The door opened, and Yin entered, wearing a white tuxedo. His face showed signs of concern. "Olivia, are you okay?" He gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "Your family?" Olivia brushed her hair back with a trembling hand. "I haven't heard from them yet. They aren't answering their phones. Will they come?" Yin tried to embrace her gently, careful not to wrinkle her dress. "There must be a reason." Olivia looked into Yin's eyes. His gaze reflected concern and a somewhat sad understanding. He knew a lot about her family, the criticism she'd received, the cold attitudes, and how she'd always been told she wasn't enough. "I'll try calling one more time," Olivia said. Her fingers trembled as she operated her smartphone. First, she called her sister Chloe. After 3 rings, her cold voice answered. "Chloe, where are you? The ceremony is about to start." Olivia tried to keep her voice cheerful. From the other end of the phone came Chloe's laughter, cold and icy. "Oh, was it today?" Olivia was momentarily speechless. "I sent you an invitation." "No, I called to confirm 3 weeks ago." "Yes," Chloe's voice was like a cold winter wind. "But you'll probably be divorced soon anyway, so it's a waste of time." Olivia's heart lurched. "What are you saying?" "Face reality. Someone like you can't have a happy marriage." "Mom said so too." Olivia was speechless and simply hung up. Yin came to her side and took her hand. "Are you okay?" Olivia shook her head and then called her mother. Eleanor's phone rang 4 times before she answered. "Olivia." "Oh, was it today?" Eleanor's voice sounded distant and somehow frivolous. "I'm in Paris now, enjoying champagne while looking at the Eiffel Tower. Don't bother me with such trivial matters." "Paris." Olivia's voice cracked. "Listen, Olivia." Eleanor's voice suddenly turned cold. "Grow up. No one cares about your wedding, especially with that. What was his name again? And your marriage to him." Olivia hung up without a word. Hot tears streamed down her cheeks. With one last hope, she called Liam. He answered after 2 rings. "Where are you?" "The ceremony is about to start." "I'm sorry." Liam's voice held a tinge of regret, but it was still cold. "There's a surf competition, and if Mom and Chloe aren't going, I'm not going either." "Sorry." After the call ended, Olivia stood there, her wedding dress reflecting the morning light, but her heart sank into darkness. Yin took her hand and said softly, "Let's go on without them. My family's your family now." Olivia wiped away her tears. "Do you really think so?" "Of course." He kissed her hand. "Today is the beginning of a new beginning. Let's leave the past behind." The ceremony began as scheduled. Olivia walked down the aisle, escorted by Yin's father. She looked around at the audience. There were many faces, Yin's family, friends, and her few friends. But the faces she most wanted to see were not there. After exchanging vows, Yin's father, Robert, suddenly stood. He was a tall, dignified man. "From today, Olivia is a precious member of our family." His voice resonated throughout the venue. "On behalf of the Sturl family, those who have hurt her will face consequences." Olivia stared at him in surprise. "Sturl family?" At that moment, Yin whispered in her ear, "I didn't tell you, but my father is the CEO of Sterling Enterprises." I'm also going to be taking on a major role in the company. Olivia gasped. Sterling Enterprises, one of America's leading corporations. Several dots began to connect in her mind. Yin's occasional disappearances for long business trips, his sophisticated demeanor, and why he never inquired much about her family. Why didn't you tell me? Olivia asked softly. I wanted to protect you, Yin replied quietly. I want to make sure you loved me for who I am, not for my name or status. Yin's mother embraced her. You have worth. Those who abandoned you will eventually regret it. At the end of the ceremony, Olivia and Yin exchanged a kiss of commitment. Warm applause erupted from the audience. Yin, Olivia said with a determined expression, I'm so happy I met you. Let's make our new life the best it can be. Yin smiled. Today I've seen clearly what kind of people your family are. I won't let them hurt you ever again. Between tears and laughter in Yin's arms, Olivia whispered, the beginning of my new life and the beginning of a little revenge against my family. A flame of determination burned in her eyes. 6 months had passed. In her office on the top floor of the Sterling Tower, one of San Francisco's most striking skyscrapers, Olivia looked out the window. The entire city seemed to spread out at her feet. Her life had completely changed in these 6 months. Previously an employee at a mid-sized real estate company, she was now the head of public relations for Sterling Enterprises. A young assistant entered her office. We're ready for the interview. Olivia took a deep breath and checked her appearance in the window glass. A silk blouse with a perfectly tailored skirt, her hair elegantly styled, and her modest yet luxurious rings. She smiled to herself. Thank you. Let's go. On the first floor of the Sterling Tower, a local news crew was waiting. When Olivia stepped out of the elevator, the cameraman and staff focused their attention on her. She approached them with a confident stride she had never before imagined possible. Thank you for your time today. A reporter extended her hand to Olivia. For our community section, we'd like to hear about Sterling Enterprises' social contribution activities. Olivia smiled graciously. Thank you for having me. They were led to a beautifully furnished lounge in the building. When the camera started rolling, the interview began. As Mrs. Sterling and the face of the corporation, please tell us about your contribution to the community, the reporter asked. Olivia replied with a serene expression. I've been fortunate enough to be blessed with a wonderful husband and a new family. Life takes unexpected turns. I'm especially grateful to those who taught me what a true family means. She smiled at the camera. There was a hidden strength in that smile. At Sterling Enterprises, we've launched a new family support program. It's a fund specifically to support those who have been hurt by emotional abuse or neglect. Family isn't just about blood. It's about relationships where people respect and value each other. I personally experienced being abandoned by my own family on my wedding day, but I've overcome that pain and learned the true meaning of family. The reporter showed a look of surprise. That must have been a difficult experience. Olivia nodded silently. It was certainly painful, but it gave me strength. Now I want to empower others who have had similar experiences. The interview continued for 30 minutes, with Olivia calmly speaking about the company's social contributions and her own experiences. After the camera stopped, the reporter approached her. Thank you so much for your wonderful story. Your story will inspire many people. Olivia took her hand. Thank you. I would be happy if I could help even one person. Back in the office, Yin was waiting for her. He smiled proudly when he saw her. You were magnificent, Olivia. He kissed her. How was the interview? Calmer than I expected. Olivia smiled in his arms. How are the preparations for the social media campaign going? Yin nodded. Everything is in motion. We plan to start tomorrow. We'll share photos of your wedding and messages about family bonds, including photos of a wedding that the family didn't attend. Olivia looked at him. If that's what you want. Yin responded with a serious expression. But if it's too painful, Olivia shook her head. No, that's important. By sharing the truth, we can give hope to others who are experiencing similar feelings. The next day, Sterling Enterprises launched a major social media campaign. Along with photos of Olivia and Yin's wedding, they shared a message about what true family means. It included the truth that her family didn't attend the wedding. The campaign generated a huge response, with many people empathizing with Olivia's experience. Her interview aired nationally, and her presence and status as the wife of a corporate executive became widely known. Her story appeared in media outlets across the country, sparking discussions about what family means. Meanwhile, criticism rained down on her real family. One morning, Olivia received an email in her office. She gasped when she saw the sender's name. It was from Chloe. "Dear Olivia, I saw your news recently. I had no idea you held such a position. Why didn't you tell me? I'm sorry about that day. I really was planning to come, but I had an important meeting that day. How are you? I hope to hear from you. Chloe." Olivia read the email twice, then laughed softly. A lie. On her wedding day, Chloe had said, "You'll probably be divorced soon anyway." She decided not to reply. The following week, Olivia received a call from a friend. "Olivia, you're not going to believe this. I heard your mother has gradually distanced herself from her friends since she got back from Paris. Everyone's asking her, 'I saw your daughter on TV, the wife of a corporate executive. Is it true you didn't go to the wedding?'" Olivia didn't say anything, just felt a small satisfaction spreading through her chest. Around the same time, Chloe started to be repeatedly questioned by customers at the luxury boutique where she worked. "Are you the sister of that Sterling woman? Why didn't you go to the wedding?" Gradually, the number of customers dwindled, and she started to receive cold looks from the store manager. There were changes for her brother Liam, too. The surf brand he had a sponsorship contract with suddenly terminated it. They told him, "We can't do business with anyone associated with Sterling Enterprises." Eleanor was no longer receiving invitations to social gatherings. Chloe lost her job, and Liam lost his sponsorships. All three were in dire financial and social straits. One afternoon, Olivia's smartphone rang. Chloe's name appeared on the screen. Olivia hesitated for a moment, but answered the call. "Olivia." Chloe's voice lacked its former coldness. Instead, it sounded somewhat anxious. "I saw you on TV recently. You look amazing, by the way." Olivia interrupted her. "You thought my wedding would be a waste of time because I'd probably be divorced soon, right? Unfortunately, I'm having a happy marriage. Do you need something?" "No. I just wanted to see how my sister was doing." Chloe tried to feign innocence. "Really? Or is there something you want from Mrs. Sturl?" Olivia asked calmly. Chloe was silent and hung up. Olivia set down her smartphone and looked out the window, the San Francisco skyline reflecting in her eyes. It was the same as it had been 6 months ago, but she herself had changed dramatically. She was no longer a small existence, suffering under family expectations and criticisms. She had become a strong woman, forging her own destiny. Yin embraced her from behind. "No regrets." Olivia smiled in his arms. "No, not at all. This isn't revenge, it's justice. Just letting the world know what they did to me." A year had passed. Olivia and Yin had established a mansion in a luxurious residential area on the outskirts of San Francisco. Olivia stood by the window, gazing at the flowers blooming in the garden. A year ago, she had her wedding without her family. That pain was still deeply rooted in her heart, but it no longer dominated her thoughts. Yin stood beside her and put his arm around her shoulder. Olivia smiled faintly. "I was remembering what happened a year ago." Yin kissed her cheek. "You become so strong this past year." Olivia nodded, looking out the window. "Yes, but sometimes I wonder how they are doing." "Do you want to know?" Yin asked quietly. Olivia looked at her husband. "Do you know? I had them investigated." Yin smiled slightly. "Atoning for your happiness." He handed her some documents. They detailed the current situations of Eleanor, Chloe, and Liam. Eleanor had been completely ostracized from society. She had to give up her luxurious apartment and moved into a small room. Chloe had lost her job at the luxury boutique, drifted from one job to another without lasting long, and now lived in a cheap apartment in a small town. Liam had lost his surfing sponsors, accumulated debt, and was sleeping on a friend's couch. "So much." Olivia choked on her words. "Just as you wished," Yin said quietly. There was no hint of guilt in his voice. "They hurt you. Now they're facing the consequences." Olivia rested her forehead against the window. The cold glass seemed to absorb her heat. "Is this what I wanted? Only you can decide that." Yin took her hand. That afternoon, while Olivia was reading in the garden, the caretaker informed her that she had visitors. Mr. and Mrs. Campbell are here to see you. Olivia held her breath. Let them in. When she entered the living room, Eleanor, Chloe, and Liam were standing there. The three looked very different from how Olivia remembered them. Eleanor's hair had turned white, and her shoulders were stooped. Chloe's beauty had faded, and her face showed signs of hardship. Liam was thin, and his tan skin lacked vitality. It's been a while. Eleanor looked at her daughter with a forced smile. The haughtiness in her eyes had vanished, replaced with anxiety and fear. What a lovely home, Olivia replied calmly, with a quiet strength. She offered them chairs. Please sit down. Would you like something to drink? No, it's fine, Chloe said quickly. Do you have some business? Olivia asked with a smile. Her voice was gentle, but her gaze was sharp. Not just to see my daughter. Eleanor's words trailed off. Her hands trembled. Really? Were you interested in my new status? Olivia sat elegantly in a chair. Her silk dress reflected the light and shimmered. A heavy silence filled the room. Finally, Liam spoke. Sister, I'll be honest. We're in trouble. Eleanor glanced at her son, but he continued. There's no point hiding it. We've all lost our jobs. We've been abandoned by friends. That's unfortunate, Olivia said evenly. But what can I do about it? Finally, Eleanor sighed. Olivia, help us. Her voice trembled. Friends are avoiding me, and I've been excluded from society. I can't find work either, Chloe added. No one will hire me. When I call, they just say the sister of Mrs. Sturl, the one who didn't go to the wedding. Liam bowed his head. I'm drowning in debt. All my sponsors cut me off. They all say they can't do business with anyone connected to Sterling Enterprises. Olivia took a deep breath and replied calmly. I understand. So, what do you want me to do? We want you to help us with your influence. Eleanor pleaded, tears welling in her eyes. With just one word from you, everything could change. Oh, weren't you the one who said, don't bother me with such trivial matters? Olivia repeated her mother's words sarcastically. Her voice was cold, but her eyes showed sadness. Eleanor covered her face with both hands. About that day, I'm sorry, but I didn't know you were the wife of an executive at such an important corporation. Olivia stood and walked to the window. So, if you had known, you would have come to the wedding? The three remained silent. That silence felt like an answer to Olivia. What do you think family is? Olivia turned and asked. Blood ties, Eleanor answered immediately. No. Olivia's voice was strong, though tinged with sadness. It's the people who support me and recognize my worth. You not coming to the wedding was a huge blow to me, but at the same time, it taught me who my real family is. Olivia stood before the three of them. I forgive you. Eleanor and Chloe's eyes widened. Liam looked up. But forgiveness and regaining trust are different things, Olivia continued. It takes time to rebuild trust. Go home today. When you truly feel it and are ready to become a real family, come back. But our situation, Chloe said weakly. You're adults, Olivia said calmly. Accepting the consequences of your choices is also a duty of an adult. Eleanor and the others were speechless and left with expressions of humiliation and regret. After the door closed, Olivia stood by the window and watched her family's car drive away. Her feelings were complex. The sweet taste of revenge mixed with the sadness of losing her family. Yin entered the room quietly. Are you okay? Olivia turned from the window and gave him a faint smile. Yes, that was difficult. Yin put his hand on her shoulder. It was necessary. Olivia, he said quietly. But this isn't the end. What do you mean? True strength is the power to forgive, Olivia said, looking out the window. But trust isn't easily regained. They need time and effort, and I also need time to fully forgive. Olivia and Yin stood with their arms intertwined, looking out the window. On the outskirts of San Francisco, Olivia and Yin's garden was decorated for Christmas. Vibrant lights adorned the trees, and the cold winter air carried the scent of cinnamon and pie. 5 years after their wedding, they had a 3-year-old daughter, ABA, with golden curls and blue eyes. ABA had inherited Olivia's features and Yin's smile. Olivia was making the final preparations for dinner in the kitchen. She had been promoted to vice president of Sterling Enterprises and had established a charitable foundation that supported families. Her work was giving hope to many families and helping to mend family relationships. "Mommy, when are Grandma and the others coming?" ABA asked in a small voice. She was wearing a red velvet dress and looked like a little Christmas angel. Olivia gently stroked her daughter's head. "Soon, ABA. Are you looking forward to them coming?" ABA nodded vigorously. "Yes, Grandma always gives me presents. But is it true that you and Grandma didn't get along in the past?" Olivia was momentarily speechless. Children's direct questions sometimes confound adults. "Yes, we had a bit of a difficult relationship in the past, but people can change." The doorbell rang, and ABA ran with her little feet. "They're here." When the door opened, Eleanor was there. Her haughty demeanor from before was gone, replaced by a gentle smile. "Olivia, ABA, Merry Christmas." Eleanor lived alone in a small apartment, abandoned by her former friends and completely vanished from society. Her expression no longer held the vanity of before, but a quiet acceptance. Occasionally, she was invited to Olivia's charity events, and she truly cherished the time she spent with her granddaughter, ABA. Next to arrive was Liam. He appeared in a suit and with a neat hairstyle. "Sister, Merry Christmas," he said with a humble smile. With Olivia's help, Liam had paid off his debts and had started working for a subcontractor of Sterling Enterprises. He worked diligently and continued to make sincere efforts to repair his relationship with his sister. Finally, Chloe arrived. Her flashy demeanor was gone, replaced by the image of a mature and composed woman. "Olivia, ABA, it's been a while." Chloe had moved to a small town in the countryside and had started a new life as a hairdresser. Although it took time to mend her relationship with Olivia, they had begun to keep in touch several times a year. She confessed to the locals, "I'm ashamed. I look down on my sister, and I'm learning to live humbly." The Christmas dinner table was bathed in a warm light. However, a slight tension lingered in the air. The conversation was polite, but not heartfelt. Towards the end of the meal, Eleanor stood up suddenly. Her hands trembled slightly, but her voice was firm. "Olivia, I want to apologize to you. I was a terrible mother. I didn't recognize your worth, and I hurt you. But you've become a much better person than me. You don't have to forgive me. I just want you to know I'm proud of you." The room fell silent. Yen and ABA looked at Olivia. Olivia took her mother's hand and squeezed it gently. "Mom, we can't change the past, but we can create the future. ABA only has one grandmother. Let's create a new family story together." Late at night, after everyone had left, Olivia was writing in her diary in the study. "The day of my wedding, when my family didn't come, was one of the most painful experiences of my life. But now I'm grateful. Without that day, I wouldn't have known my own strength, nor the true meaning of family. I learned that forgiveness ultimately fills the heart more than revenge, and above all, that my worth is not determined by others." Olivia smiled as she gazed at the sunset visible from the window. "My family, who skipped my wedding, but in the end, we all managed to find new bonds."